Yeah, hello everyone. And thank you very much, Helena, for the introduction. I'm happy to be here and to tell you something about my journey and my thoughts on AI, and of course also our work that we do at Birds on Mars. And now you already introduced me, but as you said, I'm working as marketing and communications manager. So for me, it's also important to say that I'm not an engineer, so I don't have the deep technical knowledge of or background knowledge that you need to have in order to, for instance, program AI solutions. So I more have the communicational tasks, and of course, I'm also super interested in AI. But with technical questions, I have to see if I can answer them, if there are some at the end. So this just as a small disclaimer. And yeah, I'm working at Birds on Mars at now since I think a little bit more than 1 year. Before I worked in several agencies and in marketing for the city of Berlin. And until I found out that advertising is not really my thing. And then also my interest in AI got more and more. And then I found my way to Birds on Mars. And actually, I knew them from my study also. They also did a lecture during my studies. And yeah, we stayed in contact, and then I found my way to the company. And to tell you something about Birds on Mars, so we always say our claim is connecting intelligences. So we connect humans, machines, and organizations. And we have a very big focus on empowering people or teams or organizations, of course, to exploit the full potential of AI. So not just tell them, okay, this is how it looks in the end. So really empower them so that they are able to use it themselves as well. And we do that responsibly, economically, and sustainably, of course. We have around 300 or even more than 300 projects that we did in the last 7 years. Yeah. Then we are 35 people or 35, something around this. And yeah, we have some colleagues that are working in AI or data since almost 20 years. We have around 80 clients from a lot of different industries and also a lot of partnerships. And we have three core teams, I would say. So one is AI strategy. We call them intelligence architects. The other team is product engineering or AI engineering, and then we have AI design or AI experience design. And yeah, some of our clients, some selected clients, our biggest client is Deutsche Bahn. Then we have Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, we have CDF, Berlin Recycling, Lufthansa, etc. So this is a small introduction. And now I would start with a quick wrap up of the evolution of generative AI in the last years. So we started with this around 3 years ago, I would say. Maybe it's a bit hard to see, but it's obviously Birds on Mars, what you see here. And now it looks like this. So we did, yeah, of course, there's a lot changed in the last years. And here it's already visible. I mean, you can see that it's not a real picture, but it's getting really close. And yes, that I would say that escalated quickly. And what changed since then? The technology didn't really change, but we have much more data and, of course, much more computing power, but we use almost the same algorithms. So that algorithms are there for a while already, but now we really have the power to work with them. And what also changed is the access to AI. So if you're thinking about how it looked, if you wanted to try out a state-of-the-art model 3 years ago or around 3 years ago, you definitely needed to be a bit of a computer expert. And here it looks almost like coding, which I can't do. And now you all know how it looks now. It looks just like a type interface, like a chatbot. And now even my mom can use it. I installed it at her phone the other day, and now she's really using it a lot. And that means something if she can use it. So where we are now, we're here. This is a video that I found really, impressive. So we're not going to watch the whole app, but yeah, the message is clear. You know, what needed a lot of money and capacities and time some years ago can now be done with here. It was the case like somebody invested $50 and made this with just AI. And the clip, the ad, I didn't know it myself before, but it's obviously like a popular advertising clip, and it costed a lot of money also. Then I also have another example, which is this one that I found really nice. So I'm a big science fiction fan myself, and I think this looks pretty real. I would watch the movie if it would be out already. I think it's just a short film right now, but also here the message gets clear. Like the whole industry, the film industry, movie industry will definitely change, and we will have AI movies. Maybe it will become a thing to have human-made movies in the future, and then you have like AI movies and human-made movies, and then some sort of brand mark if you have a human-made movie. I don't know. We will see. But yeah, what that means, we have like technologies that once required in-depth knowledge and years of experience, for instance, CGI, you know, to use these software tools, are now being replaced by AI. And this brings advantages, but it also brings disadvantages. And the advantages that way more people can create stuff. You know, you can do stuff that you could never do before, or you were never able to do before, because you just didn't have the technical knowledge. But the disadvantage is way more people can create stuff. So we will have more and more content, and if there's more and more content, there will also be more and more bad content. So what does that mean? It means that some skills are becoming way more important, and these skills are real emotions, real creativity, real storytelling, and real sense for aesthetics, you know, because I think, in short, the ability to judge when something really nails it will become more and more important. And in my humble opinion, I think as long as stuff is being created for humans, only humans can sense what exactly it is that makes it outstanding. What I mean with that is, no, we do stuff for humans, movies or images or whatever. And if this changes at some point, and if we have robots or bots that are producing content for bots, then of course it's different. But this is another topic. It's a bit of the dead internet theory that can be another presentation. But yeah, this is just what I think. You know, it will stay like this, that only as a human you can really say what makes something really special and what makes it touching. And we have, of course, some paradigm shifts. I would describe them as the following. We have a shift from manual to technically augmented, or we had the shift already, better said. Then we had a shift from technically augmented to technologically augmented. That's with the use of software, of AI software. And then we will have a shift from technologically augmented to technologically automated, which is happening already with AI agents. You probably heard about it already before. And then we have the shift from creator to curator, and we have a shift from execution to direction. So while you had to really execute stuff manually years ago, now you can more direct, or now you're more in the role of a director. And then we have the following shifts. We came from doing to enhancing, enhancing with, or enhanced, you could enhance your skills with software. Then we come to directing, and then is the question, what is coming next? And of course, there's also theories about it already. And for instance, if you listen to what Bill Gates says, it's the next thing is delegating, because he said, and I think it was in 10 years, we have a 2 days work week, so not 4 days work week, like it's the thing right now. We have a 2 days work week, and on the other 3 days, we will just delegate our AI agents. I'm not so sure about it, but let's see. we will see what the future brings. And no matter what, let's never forget to do it responsibly. So if it will come to the point where we really just delegate our agents, then we also have to do that responsibly, and we have to really look out that we always keep the human in the lead. Now that we don't give up the responsibly or the really valuable decisions to AI agents, but always be the one that makes the last decisions. And yeah, so keep the human in the lead. Then as next, I want to show you some creative examples that are made with the help of AI and that I personally find really, yeah, inspiring. And first, I want to show you a small clip. It's done by a colleague of mine, and as to summarize the background story, we as a company recently got our ISO certification, which means that we're now officially a company who's taking information and data security really serious. And then we had an all agency meeting, and one colleague joked that it would be really nice to have an advertising clip to promote this milestone for us. And but like, luckily we have AI because another colleague of mine did some prompting and a little bit of cutting, and then we got a really nice video. And this I'm going to show you now.
Effizienz, Stress, Alltag, Leistung, Profitoptimierung, Skalieren, Verkaufen, erneuerbare Energien.
Wenn ich an KI denke, nehme ich Birds on Mars.
Künstliche Intelligenz, Beratung, Implementierung, Produkt. Birds on Mars, die KI-Agentur aus Berlin, seit 2017. Zu Risiken und Nebenwirkungen fragen Sie Ihre Datenschutzbeauftragte oder CISO, ISO 27001 zertifiziertes Unternehmen.
So the idea behind was to make some sort of cliche advertising clip, as we've all seen it before, and to make it a bit, yeah, humorous, but then in the end just drop a really, like in this case, dry fact, you know, with the ISO certification to also promote this. And yeah, here several tools got used by my colleague. In this case, it was ChatGPT for brainstorming. Then he used Midjourney for image creation. He used 11 Labs for the voice generation. Then Suno for music, and Premiere to then bring this all together. And I think what is really important to like if you want to do like movies like this, it's really important to think in each concept or in each sequence. So because you can't just prompt, okay, like generate me this and this and this, and then you describe the scenes, and in the end you have this like final video. You have to think, okay, what elements do I need? You need the scenes, then you need the music, you need the voiceover, etc. And then you can do all that with the tools that are made for it, that I just mentioned, for instance, 11 Labs and stuff like this, and Kling AI for text to video generation. And in the end, you can bring it together with Premiere. Then you really need to know a bit of the software, of course. Then next, I want to show you some examples. A while ago, I think it was last year, I went to a really good exhibition at the Museum of Communications in Berlin. And there were, I think, 3 different artists showcasing their art, and all the art was created with the help of AI. The exhibition was called New Realities, Stories about AI and work and art. And there was one artist I liked her the most, or her work the most, and she curated the following. So her name is Marine Burkhardt, and she created realistic photographies that show random objects in deep jungle surroundings. And here it's also important to say this is already a year ago. Now they would probably even look even more realistic. But here it was then really about the idea and the concept. And for me, the real art here lies in the idea and the curation of it. Because obviously she didn't take the pictures by herself, but she came up with the idea and then curated this whole series around it. And what I found the most inspiring is also the creative prompting, because she had a manual that was like that you could check out. It was just lying around at the exhibition, and there she shared all the prompts that she used for creating the images. And I like personally, I never saw prompting like this. I just knew prompting, then I would just write one sentence or stuff like this. But here I saw what you can really do if you make really thoughts on it. And here I'm not going to read everything, but she really made like thoughts on how to perfectly describe what she wants to have in the end. So photo type and then color scheme and composition and lighting and even camera settings with the ISO 100 in this case, aperture time and stuff like this. So super creative, super a lot of fantasy that it also needs. And then what we have here, the prompt that she's showing here, then created this image. And I wouldn't know how to describe an image like this, now I know. And that really inspired me to really think about how you can perfectly describe an image and not just, a green bird on a yellow background or something like this, but really go into every detail. And then you also get the best result. And you probably seen stuff like this on LinkedIn already, but it feels like prompting is becoming a science itself. So there's a lot of cheat sheets and manuals how to prompt, but you have to find out yourself, and it's really worth it to understand how you can communicate the best with a large language model. In this case, here it's like it's visualized as a pyramid. So you describe the role first, and you give context, examples, etc. pp. So there are a lot of examples like this, but it's really worth to take some time to find out, because this makes a huge difference with the results that you get in the end. And to summarize, the result is only as good as the prompt that we saw in the images before, with the creative prompting. But it's of course also the case if you brainstorm with a large language model or do copywriting, etc. So take some time for the prompt, and then you can save some time in the end. And next, I would like to show you some projects from Birds on Mars that so it's now I selected creative projects. Of course, as I said, we also work with big companies like Deutsche Bahn and stuff like that. And there we also have creative projects, but of course, it's not comparable to the more creative stuff that we do with artists together, or also people from the music industry, or yeah, really various fields. And for us, it all started with one project, and it was called Artificial Muse. So it was 2017, and it kind of marked the beginning of Birds on Mars as a company, because a friend of the founders of Birds on Mars, his name is Roman Lipski. He's an artist, like a painter, and he had some sort of let's say creative crisis. So he was not really inspired anymore, and at this time, he was talking to his friends, the founders of Birds on Mars, and they were like, "Yeah, we computer scientists, and there's this thing with machine learning," and it was all completely new at this point. Like 2017, it feels like so long ago. At this time, I don't know, I maybe would have thought that we will have AI in 30 years. Now we have it only a few years later. But yeah, what we did here is they programmed an AI, and then they could feed the paintings of Roman to the AI. And then the AI could learn and understand his ductus and his artistic expression. And then it would not create completely new images, but more show him, yeah, maybe try this out, or try this, or try to just use this color, or use a little bit of a different way of using your brush and whatever. And this really helped him to just get new inspiration. And it's really we call it artificial muse, because in the end it's a digital muse that gives you inspiration, or it gave Roman inspiration, and that's why we called it inspiration AI. And this was the start of Birds on Mars, and then there were a lot of other projects or creative projects following after. Here, yeah, this I want to show you also. It was back then. It was such a big thing that even Google invited us, and then we were because they opened a new office in Berlin, and we got invited to yeah to show a painting and yeah explain how the artificial muse works. Yeah, next, I have one project. It's called Krach AI, and it's a tool that makes voice playable like a synthesizer. And so you can either yeah, use your own voice, then record your voice, or you can also use text input, and then a synthetic voice is created, and then you can play the voice or the sequence you created, then you can play with it like you can do with a synthesizer. For instance, here you can the pitch and the speed and sampling rate and stuff like this. And actually, there's a electronic music duo from Berlin. They are also quite popular. They are called Mouse on Mars. And they created a whole album where they used the two, or of course also other instruments, but they used for almost every track they used this tool to kind of create vocals and vocal cuts and yeah it's called I think Anarchic Artificial Intelligence, the album. It's really like if you like electronic music, to me I think personally it's really good. And then um, we're going to stay in the field of music. Here's another project, AI for Creation. Also, it's an AI synthesizer that we developed together with a music ensemble. It's called Electronic ID. And yeah, we created or to describe it, it's an interactive modular synthesizer that uses generative AI to enable dynamic connections between movement and sound and speech and image and also video output. And like a real synthesizer, you can connect each of these modules. So here again, I don't know the technical background of synthesizers, but I know that also with real image synthesizers, you can connect modules and then kind of like the signal run through each of the modules. And yeah, that makes it even better. It's a very easy explanation, but yeah, so we kind of did it the same like it is in with real synthesizers. It's actually also still online. You can try it out if you want. It's called I think it's just called AI Synthesizer by Electronic ID. You can also find it on our website, of course. Then a next project that I also worked on, we called it Vegan Chef because we could feel during the pandemic that because we have a lot of colleagues that really like to cook, and yeah, we were just lacking some inspiration. And then we thought about, okay, why not create an AI that gives you inspiration to cook? And then we came up with the idea for Vegan Chef. Of course, now there's also probably tons of other tools that work like this, but back then we were kind of new with the idea, and yeah, it's really easy to handle. You can just say, okay, how many people are hungry? Then you can say like one or I don't know, 4 or 5 people, whatever. Then you can say you either want to do it quick and easy, or you have more time. Then you can also say, because it's not a final screenshot now you can also say like if you want to do Italian or Asian or whatever cuisine you would like to cook. And then you got something like this. So it's in AI generated recipe, also AI generated image, of course, and then also a shopping list that you can just check and then really easy recipe. I also brought a small screen because this was a mock-up that I created for the design of the AI, but now it looks like this. This is, by the way, was really delicious. I tried it out myself. It's Asian cucumber salad. Yeah, as you can see here, you can just check the boxes and just bring the phone to the supermarket and get the stuff, and yeah, then you have a really delicious meal at the end. This is also still online. You can also try it out if you want. It's called, I think it's veganchef.ai. And then another project we have the Kaleidophone, which is yeah, project or AI for inclusion, and this is also some sort of synthesizer, but disabled people can use it. So it works like they use their voice, and then we have an encoder and a decoder, and with their voice they can create, for instance, piano music or guitar sounds and all that. And this is really, yeah, a nice thing because disabled people are also like not disabled people, but they can all make music together, and it's really, yeah, inclusive because you couldn't do that before. And yeah, then I have another example that is, yeah, AI to touch. It's our AI experience room. It's actually in Reutlingen. It's a city in Baden-Württemberg, and they have this innovation center, and then they want to kind of make it a yeah, Standort for AI experiences. And they came to us and asked, can we do something which is inspired by an experience room? Like not experience room, escape room, sorry. And then we came up with this idea. So you have three rooms here. You can see just one room, but you also have three other rooms. And then you have to solve quizzes and riddles that are working, yeah, with AI in order to, yeah, to be able to escape the room. So really nice. Unfortunately, I haven't visited myself because it's not quite around the corner, but I only heard good stuff about it, and I think it also looks really nice. Mm, then I have one more example. It's called the voice-to-voice bot. It's AI for culture. We developed it for Rundfunk Berlin-Brandenburg, RBB radio. And how it works, so they do cultural recommendations in their radio shows. And we thought, okay, why not create an interface that lets you get personalized or individualized recommendations. And this, I also have brought a video that kind of
Hallo, ich bin dein Eventguide für Berlin und Brandenburg. Ich helfe dir, die besten Veranstaltungen zu finden. Lass uns loslegen, oder?
Klar, ich suche Konzerte ab Mitte November oder so. Was hast du denn da zu empfehlen?
Alles klar, ich schau mal, was es ab Mitte November an Konzerten gibt. Einen Moment Geduld, ja? Na, du suchst also nach Events? Hier haben wir ein paar bunte Veranstaltungen, die alle irgendwie mit Musik, Theater oder Comedy zu tun haben.
So I'm not going to show the whole video because I think it's almost 2.5 minutes. But what I found really nice, we kind of gave it a character to AI. So it's a bit sassy and a bit funny, and it's not like it doesn't really feel like talking to a robot that doesn't have any personality. And you can ask it, for instance, then if it recommends, I don't know what we see here, Trentemöller at the Asper Kulturhaus, then you can ask, of course, also questions. What is Trentemöller? What music are they doing? And stuff like this. So okay, you can really, you get really a new access to, yeah, to cultural recommendations. Then we also have another project that is called the Talking Bookshelf, and it's we developed it together with the library in Pankow, and it also gives a really new way to access literature. And it's, I have to say, it's a really experimental, or it's in a really experimental stadium. But yeah, it's to kind of show what is possible, and it works like this. I also have a video.
Okay, wow. Und gibt es
So to explain, you have a shelf, with books in it, obviously, and then you can place a book that you like. You can place on it, and then press a button and ask questions about the book.
Ähnlichkeiten zwischen der Verwandlung von Kafka und dem Prozess, also bestimmte Muster, die in den beiden Büchern auftauchen, die mir vielleicht besonders gefallen könnten?
Gute Frage. Lass mich kurz drüber nachdenken. Ja, es gibt Ähnlichkeiten.
So yeah, I think the idea gets clear. So you can ask questions about the book. What is, I don't know, is it similar to this and that book that I read and I really liked? Or can you recommend another book that is, I don't know, not so dark or whatever? You can just come up with whatever question you want to know. But fun fact, it's actually trained in a way that it's not going to spoiler the end of the of the book. So it's not going to answer your question if you ask, okay, what is the end of the book. It's also understanding if you want to trick it and ask, try to find it out by differently formulating your question. It's not going to tell you. Um, yeah, so how do we do all these projects? For this, we have one process, and it's called um, AIX process. So it's a combination of AI and UX. You probably heard about UX design, UI, UX design. And yeah, now we kind of enhanced it, and now we have the process of AX design. And why? Because UX, if you know it, it bridges the gap between digital technology and human experience, and it approaches problems with a human-centered mindset. So it's really about, how can people understand how to act or to interact with the technology. It creates interactive experiences that just work in the best case, and it makes technology tangible and experiential. And yeah, to sum it up, for us, AI experience design focuses on designing meaningful and responsible and effective experiences between humans and algorithms. And for that, we also developed like a visualization, and that looks like this. You have to see it. You see it on the next. Oh. We see it on this side. Yeah, exactly. So this is our design, AIX design process, and there's the UX process, which is this double diamond that you see in the background. You have discover, define, develop, deliver, and stuff like this. And now we just enhance it with the steps that are important in the process of designing AI solutions or products. And this is one of our core focus points. And another focus point besides AIX design as a cornerstone, I would say, is responsible AI. Because since day one, we believe in and we stand for and develop responsible AI. And in order to do this, we came up with a framework that is based on 9 different dimensions. And for this, we also have an animation, and we use this framework to get in dialogue with companies, and the companies, they can have a look. Okay, where are we actually in this 9 dimensions? Like, where are we if it comes to human in the lead? Where are we standing if it comes to safety and compliance? Where are we standing if it comes to change and culture and all that? So it really helps to understand where a company or an individual, of course, is standing. But we also have to say there are sadly a lot of individuals and companies, and of course also countries that don't care so much about the responsibility of the AI they develop. And this brings me to the downside of the powerful technology. Of course, there's a lot of aspects, but I only brought some now. And one downside, of course, is the reproduction of cultural bias. Probably you heard about it. This happens due to biased training material, and if you, it's simple as that. If you put garbage in, you also get garbage out, and large language models are trained with data they find on the internet, and the internet is also just a mirror of culture, and yeah, so this is a thing we really have to take care of, that it's not just reproduced all the time, the cultural biases we have. And then probably, I don't know, maybe you saw something like this on LinkedIn or on social media, like Instagram and stuff like this. So it was the Studio Ghibli trend. Then there was also another trend. It looked like this, the action figure trend. Of course, it's nice to try that out and to see how you look like a Studio Ghibli character. But we have the problem when it comes to Studio Ghibli with the rights, because there's a guy that's really like made this his own style and invested so much time. That's not so much the case with the action figures. But the problem with all this is how Sam Altman said it. It's melting their GPUs, because it just takes so much energy to create these images or to create prompts. And that's why you should just really think of, okay, do I need that picture of me as an action figure, or don't I need it? And yeah, to sum it up, AI is a very thirsty matter. Training of large language models is consuming millions of liters of water. And I have one example to be precise. ChatGPT 3 costed around 4.5 or costed, but took 4.5 million liters to train it. And yeah, that's as much as the annual water consumption of a village with around 130 inhabitants. Sounds like a small village. It's also small, but if you think, that's all the water they need for everything, like, for, I don't know, food, showering, cooking, and all that. And then it's actually quite a lot to just train an AI model. But of course, it's also the responsibility of every individual. That's what I just said, because according to a study by the University of California, a short email or around 20 questions or text prompts that you write to an AI costs around half a liter of water, and in another way of saying, it's like enough energy for 14 LED lamps for 1 hour. So it's really about asking yourself, okay, do I really need to take that to do that, to make that image, or is it just, not so important? Um, what else? So to sum it up, it's also simple as that. If we have rising use of AI technologies, we have also rising use of energy consumption, and rising use of energy consumption leads to rising power generation. And you know where that leads? Rising power generation leads to rising CO2 emissions. So there's only just one way to solve that, and the only way is the only way to make this equation work without being doomed due to the consequences is a massive increase in renewable energies. And I know there was already a lot happening in the last years, but in order to kind of compensate this rising interest in AI, we really have to develop also in this direction. And then there's also, of course, one more problem. It's the problem of deepfakes. And I will just show you this video that I found really funny, but it's still scary also a bit.
Ich weiß, es war eine geile Zeit, wir waren jung und frei. Du fehlst mir, ja, ich weiß, es war eine geile Zeit, wenn man's endlich begreift, ist es vorbei. Ich weiß, es war eine geile Zeit, wir waren jung und frei. Du fehlst mir, ja, ich weiß.
So this is a funny example, but yeah, as I said, it's also scary because, well, give it some more days or some more weeks, months, years, whatever. How can we even know if it's real anymore? And this, I mean, with these videos, you know it, but it's getting really critical when it comes to fake news and stuff like this. And how to sum it up? AI is only getting better and better with every day that passes. It's getting faster, better, more, it looks more real and all that. And I read a really good quote that really nails it. It's from the product owner of ChatGPT. Today's AI is the worst AI we'll ever have. He said that. So this really shows, where it's all developing. It's only going forward. And yeah, as a creative, how to adapt to all of this now? Well, you need to embrace experimentation. So actively, test different tools to expand your creative boundaries and boost your process. But do it with intent, use it consciously, and stay in control and really, direct it, as I said earlier. And focus on your strengths or on human strengths that AI can't replace. I also mentioned earlier, it's like really creativity, it's a sense of aesthetic, it's a strategy, but it's also storytelling, and be able to kind of assess what real emotions are and what really touches other people. And two more points. Build a distinct identity, which is getting more and more important because there will be so much more content. So it's really important to kind of emphasize authenticity and uniqueness to stand out from all this. And the last point, stay connected, connect with others and exchange ideas with other creatives, technologies, thought leaders, experts, whatever, to get to know about new technologies and to kind of spot trends early on. And Yeah, this as my last quote. We've been saying this for a while. It's not 100% clear who said it. It's presumably Alan F. Morgenstern, and he said it around 1930, which is a fucking long time ago, almost 100 years, you know. But to me, this feels like more actual than ever because that's really what it's about, you know, to make your work smarter with the help of intelligent technologies like AI. And that's it from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, now I'm looking forward to answer questions if you have any.